Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today we were going to be answering and giving our opinion on a viewer question about B. Smith. Okay, so we had a viewer question wanting our opinion. Thank you, viewer, for this question. It was actually a comment on one of our videos. So I'm just gonna read the comment verbatim. It says, "Hey ladies, I was wondering if you girls are familiar with B. Smith, who just recently passed away with Alzheimer's. B. Smith was the Black Martha Stewart. That's what she was known as, if you guys know her. What do you think of her husband moving in a Caucasian woman for so-called companionship, while his wife of 20 years is still living in the home that her money bought? His excuse was he still has needs." Shaking my head. "I would like to hear your views on the situation. Thanks." Okay, so I am very familiar with B. Smith. You weren't totally familiar with her.
Not really, no.
Okay, so yeah, so she was saying in the comment, she was a model. Originally, she was an older woman, or was an older woman. She was originally like a model and known for that, and then an entrepreneur. And she just did like a lot of things. If you just look around, B. Smith, Barbara Smith, a really inspirational woman of color, Black woman. And yeah, so I am very familiar with her, to answer your question, that part of it. I do know about the situation with the husband now. So he was married for a number of years. She had early onset Alzheimer's. It kind of, kind of escalated a little quickly. And her husband did stick with her. It's a lot taking care of someone with Alzheimer's. I would presume it is a lot. Yeah. He was having, I'm sure he was having a hard time because he knew this woman as one way for a long time. It has to be a lot, on him. So he I guess pretty much befriended somebody as a friend. I believe her name is Alex, a white woman, and it turned into more, and they became lovers and in a relationship. She then, after a period of time, moved in with B, and so her husband's name is Dan. So she ended up moving in with both of them. This woman moved in, and so it is a very odd. Yeah. This is obviously an unorthodox type of situation. This is not normal, right? But I think when we discuss this, we do like this question, and we think it's one of those things where, to me, I feel like this is not a black and white situation. This is a lot of gray area, in my opinion. I believe that he wants a companion. And his companion has had Alzheimer's, you know what I mean? And that is a lot, right, on somebody. So it's kind of hard to, it's kind of hard to not understand him, in my opinion. Yeah. You don't know what you do in that situation. You know what I mean? I feel like you don't know exactly what you would do in that situation. So in my opinion, I think that it's one of those things where you have to do what's best for you. And this is a case-by-case basis. Like, people are different and do things differently. You don't know what you would do until you're in someone's situation. But I do see him as a man, as a human, and wanting companionship. And as Alex was saying, his girlfriend, or I don't know if his wife now or girlfriend, but his girlfriend was saying, and even he was saying, or even B, if you watched her, they interviewed her a lot during this time. She was behaving like a child now, and that's just because of the effects of this disease, unfortunate disease. This is one of the worst diseases out there. You know what I mean? Because they're alive, but they're lost. You know what I mean? And it's a really tough thing. So it was no longer like she was his wife. She didn't, as he said, most days she didn't know who he was anymore. And I don't know. I feel I don't feel necessarily conflicted. I kind of understand him.
Yeah.
I kind of understand why he did this.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to understand people's a person's situation. I mean, and you got to understand the disease.
Right.
So if this were me, and I because she knew she had it because I told her,
right?
You know, and she knows how it's gonna progress,
right?
So it's not gonna be good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So if this were me, I probably would have told my husband that if I get to a point where I am no longer the personality that you remember, and I'm no longer acting, because he can't have sex with her,
right? Because
she's not in her right mind.
Yeah, he doesn't feel comfortable doing that,
and he shouldn't.
Which to me was
which is honorable.
To me, it was respectful.
He can't have sex with her because she's not in her right mind.
Right.
But if it were me and I was her, you know, I would say, you know, I'm sure they had a conversation, about this, you know,
that we don't know about,
right?
Yeah,
you know, that if something happened, because in all actuality, just because someone's living doesn't mean that they're just because they're alive doesn't really mean they're living anymore the way that they were.
Right.
And doesn't mean that she didn't even remember him most of the time. Yeah. So he would be around her, and he, like he said, sometimes she would mistake him for everybody. Yeah. And very seldom did she remember who he was.
Even throughout the day, he was saying
even throughout the day he would be different people. I think it's one of those things where it's because we look at marriage like, no matter what, you can't do that. Ruby Dee and Ozzie Davis had in the first 10 years of the marriage, they had an open marriage, right? Because didn't know that. they were working actors, and they spent a lot of time away from each other, right? So a lot of people had judgment on them for this, because she went, I think in her book, she discussed that, right? And so in her older age, people actually judged this woman, right, and her husband, especially with all they've done for civil rights and everything, that they would do that. Because marriage is supposed to be binding. It's supposed to be just between you and your husband. You're not supposed to be
exactly.
But they looked at it in a realistic way. She's not around her husband. He's a man. Yeah. And so instead of him cheating on her, she allowed him, and he allowed her. Yeah. To what
they would call like a hall pass these days. You know,
once their careers got imbalanced, they stopped at that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But there was a time when they were not around each other. So a lot of people judge that. And I feel like it's sort of the same thing here. It's easy to sort of judge this situation because she's sick, and because she's pretty,
and she's alive, and
because she's sweet, and she did so many good things, and she's alive.
And also I think that because this is a disease where you can still walk around and not be, you're mentally, something's going on up here, not your body, so it's not like you're deteriorating as in.
So in a way, she's mentally gone, but he's still mentally here, right? So he has to deal with himself as a man. Not only we're talking about sex, we're talking about talking to someone. Yeah, because she can't talk to him like a man and a woman would talk to each other. She has. She has episodes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so now he's in a position, because that could go on forever. I don't know how long she had Alzheimer's before she died. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if that went on for 10 years, what is he supposed to do? Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he needs someone to talk to. And
you have to ask these questions. Yeah. This is a question that is complex.
Yeah, she wasn't in a nursing home, so he took care of her. 24
he didn't want
to
put her in. He could have. In a nursing home, and I know people are kind of all bent out of shape because she's white. Okay, so this is another part of it, is that most Black women are upset because I don't, like we were talking about earlier, but I don't think it would matter. But the fact that she's white is what a lot of Black people are bringing up, like they're bringing up, and I feel like it doesn't matter if she's Black or white. I just think that, maybe it does. I mean, obviously, to some of you guys, maybe it does. But to me, I think that that's not the point here. The thing is that you have to look at is a human being. Yeah. Both people. For all three. Yeah. Okay. Because Alex they were friends.
And she took care of her too.
Right. No, Alex and B are, obviously she doesn't know all the time who these people are, right? But she knew, I think Alex even said, I knew that if Dan's a package deal. B was part of his package, and he made that very clear to her, that it's just, I can't just let that go it has to be hard. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it has to be hard on the husband. Mm-hmm. I do. I really do. And again, we don't know what conversations had before. Their daughter, mm-hmm. She's even said, mm-hmm. Like you're not in this. You're not in this. You know
because his daughter gets to see the emotional side of it. Because we're only thinking about B. We're not thinking about him. You know what I mean? And what it must be like for him to every day have to spend 24 hours taking care of someone who's childlike now. Yeah. And probably needs to be helped to the restroom. Right. And he needs something. Right. It's just like if you were a single mom. Yeah. You need single mothers. They need a man. Because you need somebody there to balance out the fact that you are not just a worker, you're not just a mother, you're also a sexual being. We're women, we're still sexual. Sexual being, and you need to have adult conversations. And at this point, he was really just alone. He was alone. And then
I think he even said that, no, I know this, that he started drinking more. This is what happened, is that he didn't know how to handle... It was hard for him to handle his wife mm-hmm. of so many years, his love of his life, mm-hmm. Going through this. So I'm sure on both ends, he's just like, I have my own pain. I can't ignore my own pain. Mm-hmm. Okay. I know everybody wants him to. Everybody wants him to ignore his own pain and the hard mm-hmm. part of this. But that's not a human being if he does that. Right. He's going to have to not ignore that part of him. But I think he tried to, and he started drinking. Mm-hmm. And, Alex, his girlfriend, was kind of the one that kind of got him out of that. Yeah. And was like, listen, you're going to find a way to take care of her. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to be strong in this, So I think she kind of encouraged him mm-hmm. in that way. And their daughter is just like, it is a unique situation, but it is
most people aren't going through this.
Oh, this is in
their marriage. Most people are not going through a situation like this. Right. And, I think their daughter said exactly the way I feel, mm-hmm. that she felt her father deserves to be happy. Yeah. She's seen him sad. She's seen him cry. She's seen him self-destruct because, she gets to watch the emotional mm-hmm. side of what's going on, not just the visual of this man moving in a woman mm-hmm. and, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. She has to deal with the emotional side. Right. If you love anyone, in your life, you have to deal. You see if mm-hmm. they're being judged about mm-hmm. something, you have to see the emotional part of what it is, and then it doesn't look the same when when you're just looking in the window. Yeah, you know what I mean. This man had to put up with a lot. You know what I mean. And so, as far as the white girl thing is concerned, I don't think that this is a man who dates white women because he was with her for many years. Yeah. They were together for over 20 years, right? Right. You know what I mean? So he loved this black woman for a really long time. And I think that sometimes what happens is people just fall in love with people outside of their race. Right. And that just happens. He doesn't walk around looking for white girls. Yeah. He just happened to fall in love with one. Right. You know what I mean? And that just happens. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if she had been the one that had to deal with him having Alzheimer's. And I think also we view men differently than we do mm-hmm. women. Women are emotional, so we feel sorry for them a little more.
This is nothing like this, but I'm going to use this comparison. I know that this is mm-hmm. a very separate comparison, but I'm going to use this because I think that it's kind of it can add to this mm-hmm. in some way. But like when someone goes to prison, okay, you're married for 30 years, and then your husband, wife, whatever, goes to prison for life. Mm-hmm. Okay, not you're going to get out in 5 years, not even 10 years, not even 50, life. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, what the person in prison mm-hmm. will tell the person who is not their spouse, mm-hmm. you're going to have to move on. Yeah. You're going to have to move. We're going to have to get a divorce. Mm-hmm. This is a common thing that happens mm-hmm. because people need companion. Yeah. They need companionship, you know what I mean? And it's just, I guess it's just one of those things mm-hmm. where I think I understand this man. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how better way to say this, but I do think I understand this mm-hmm. man because it's not like he's, going to the military. She's going to the mm-hmm. military and she's a military woman. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not like that. This is not even a prison situation. This is literally.
So, I'm not sure if people are mad at the fact that he had sex or if he's having a relationship.
I think
you know what I mean, because it would have been better if he just went out and cheated on her all the time. Right. And those women didn't matter.
I think it's both.
You know what I mean? But he's an older man too. This is another thing. Yeah. Older men are different than younger men because they get more emotional because their sex is not new to them anymore. Yeah. They just like us want something more. Right. They fall in love. Yeah. Exactly. And that's a beautiful thing for, that's why a lot of women love older men.
Yeah.
Because older men are more in touch with themselves because they've been around longer and they've already been there, done that.
Yeah.
So they fall in love a little quicker than younger men. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so he is an older man who was in love with a woman for a really long time, is not used to probably going through women. Especially, they were married for how many years?
You know what?
So they were married for almost, what looks like 28 years.
28 years.
This is a man who's been with this woman for 28 years. And he's probably used to loving on her, kissing on her, making love to her, eating with her in the morning, having conversations. And then one day that's just over.
B was a very vibrant, amazing woman. So can you imagine the toll that has to have not only on her because of her illness and the confusion of it all, but imagine you don't have the illness.
Right.
And you're seeing someone not even know you after 28 years.
Right.
And I know seems like the admirable thing to do. It seems like, and then maybe it is for some people. Maybe for some people it's like, 100%, stay with them to the death do us part or whatever it is. I get people are very literal in that way sometimes. But I just think that I don't think that it's just feasible. And I also don't think that it's logical.
I mean, so there's a movie called, this is really popular. So it's a love story. It's a beautiful story. And it's about this situation. Only the couple's white.
Yeah.
And, the movie's set up in a way that you sort of see them young.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's happening to the end. And you find out that she has Alzheimer's and he doesn't. But the beautiful part about that movie is the fact that he every day tells her this story every day that we're actually watching because she can't remember her life anymore. And we all like to think that men can be that strong, that they can do this. And for some men that might be true. That might be that was his only one and that is it. You know what I mean? But we can't make men, I think that a lot of women, we look at men as strength. Like they're supposed to have strength and they're supposed to, they're supposed to be our heroes and they're supposed to be there for us. But they are, they have feelings too.
Yeah.
And they have needs.
Yeah.
Because she's no longer, because we're not just our physical selves. No, we're our soul. We're our personality. And her, like Danielle said, she was a vibrant woman. And when that was taken away.
Yeah. Well, the hard part, I'm going to interrupt you, but the hard part, I think, of all this is that even through her illness, she's like more childlike vibrance. So she, the essence of who she was, even having Alzheimer's, still a very funny, vivacious woman and fun to be around. So it wasn't like she was, like some vegetables. No, she was
like a sad disease because it robs you of your life. Yeah. It robs you. It robs you of your memories. Our memories mean everything to us. You know what I mean? And it just does. It robs you of that. And
it's almost like you're a shell of yourself.
And the funny part about Alzheimer's is that even though they can't remember anything, they know they're going through it.
Yeah.
That's also just like
that's a prison of your own head. Right. Yeah, that's a prison of your own mind. That's that
day she sees this man, she's meeting him all over again.
Yeah. And she knows that she should know him.
So she doesn't.
And so you really have to step in. Sometimes you got to step outside yourself just for a brief moment and say, and just look at as much as you can, because this is a hard situation, because it's more than likely most people won't go through this, but you're going to have some type of step away from yourself for a minute.
All right.
See him as a man. All right. And then see him as a person, a human, and who has needs, and things happen naturally too. So he naturally befriended this woman, Alex. Right, they naturally were just friends, and then because of what he was going through, and because of her watching him go through this, of course, it morphed into something else.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And he's able to find some part of happiness again. So
you can live with Alzheimer's for a long time.
You can for a long time.
You know what I mean? And he could be doing this forever and secretly be resenting this whole situation. You know what I mean? And that in itself would make him feel horrible, that he resents something that he has to deal with for forever because he respects her. But he also has to respect his own life and his own time he has here on this earth.
I would be more mad if he... I'd be more mad if he threw her in a nursing home by and then brought in this woman and just didn't acknowledge B anymore. But at least to me, I feel like the strength he had to do both is kind of it's odd.
Yeah,
it's odd. I'm not saying it's not odd, but I think that it's it's just it's logical.
I mean, it's like
I think it's just more logical.
I think me as Kara, I would be mad.
I would tell my husband to please find somebody else.
But I think if I was and I knew that, like, do not. You have to do
don't stop your life.
Do not think that you have to hold on some image.
Yeah. Especially
for me.
Especially when we know about Alzheimer's, and especially when we know how this can go. They can live for a long time. At this point, so yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because I think sometimes when people, especially with when people are public figures, sometimes we don't look at them as human beings. We look at them as like little characters. Yeah. And we can judge them and we can say things about them, but we don't know what it's like to be famous. No, we don't know what it's like for people to be like, you know, I say that all the time about like even Kim Kardashian. We don't know that she has feelings. Yeah. You know, it could really hurt her about the things she says. But a lot of people just look at her as a character because we don't get to touch her, see her, feel her. Her family does, but we don't. And so you always have to remember, like, what if this was you? Right. What if this were you? You know, I can have to say that if it were my husband, maybe I would, but then maybe after a while, I would be lonely. You know what I mean? I would, you know, because once you've been married for 28 years, you're used to things. Yeah. You're used to sharing your life with one person, seeing that person all the time, and to watch them deteriorate every single day. There's a guilt that goes along with that because it didn't happen to you, it happened to them. And men already are very protective, and to watch his wife have to go through that is already probably hard.
Then he's faced with the decision of having to move forward.
Yeah. His life is still the way it is. Forward. It's really I feel bad for him.
I feel bad for him
because this is a no-win situation for him. So he might as well live his life the way he wants because he can suffer in silence and resent her. Yeah, because that's what would be next.
Or have a happy life and try to figure out.
And I think B would want him. I know. I actually think she probably would be mad. Yeah, because I don't really know about this woman that much, but what I will know is that she seemed to have a full life. She did a lot of things, and for someone with that type of personality, wouldn't want someone to suffer like that.
You mentioned it actually in your comment that. Oh man, I don't want to misquote you. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, okay. So you mentioned about companionship. While his wife of 20 years is still living in the home that her money bought. Okay, so this part does kind of that does is a little concerning because when you're married, there is no more. My money, her money. Yeah. When you are in a relationship, especially of 28 years, that's their money. Yeah. That is his home. Yeah. Okay. So I know that she's a successful woman. I'm very well aware of that. And I'm sure he is too. You know what I mean? I'm sure he understands that. But the truth of the matter is that's his home. Yeah. That's his home. That's his wife. They were married. That is his home.
And if this were, like I said, if this were switched, and she was the one that had to care for him, because we look at men as providers, so we automatically assume that that their money is our money. But then when we work, we don't think their money. If I get married and whenever I get married and I'm successful, my husband and I, that's our money. Yeah. Right, together. It's our money together. I'm backing him just like he's backing me. You know what I mean? And whatever we accumulated together is ours. I don't care if I make more than him. Yeah. It's ours. You know what I mean? And you have to see that. And
couples, I mean, and married couples, all the married couples I know say that. I don't care who's making more, who's making less. I don't care how successful one is, every married couple that I know that's happily married understand each other and understand how this works, this institution works, knows that is their money. So that's his home. Yeah. That's his home. So that part of it, I feel like That to me is not a gray area. Right. That's pretty black and white. Yeah, they're married. That's their home.
And as far as the white woman thing, I think if she was a black woman and young, people be saying that.
Oh yeah, it would be something.
She was a young black girl. You know what I mean? And he just didn't want that old lady anymore. And
just a middle-aged white woman he's with, right? She's middle-aged. She's not even.
I honestly do think that they just met and they really did like each other. And
I just think
these things happen, But I can bet you that with the relationship for 28 years and the fact that he still takes care of her with that woman, means that they must have had real communication.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. And I can bet you my paycheck that they had this conversation. And I can also bet you, I think I laid my last dollar on the fact that he probably told her. She probably said this. That if this happens, you have the right to, I want to release you of that feeling. And I bet he probably never thought he was going to do that. Yeah. He probably thought, no, this is it. Until he got lonely. Yeah. See, because time changes us. You know what I mean? Yeah. When things are fresh, it's easy to say a lot of things that you think you're going to do. Yeah. Until 3 years goes past and 5 years goes past. And then you've got all of this responsibility. Yeah. And he's older too. He's not a young man. No. You know what I mean? He's older and he's lonely and he feels
doesn't
guilty.
Want to die alone.
He knows people are going to judge him. And I just think that,
I think he made the right decision.
I think he made the right decision.
And I want to say that I think that, especially I
think Danielle's analogy on the jail situation is pretty much the same. You know what I mean? If your husband or wife goes to prison and say they actually did do something and they go to prison.
Yeah, it's their fault.
And they get 30 years, 20 years. How long are you supposed to wait?
Yeah. How long? That's the question. How long? How long are you supposed to wait?
How long are you supposed to wait? How long are you supposed to
talk to you?
You still have life. Yeah. I believe that we're brought here to do things in life. Yeah. And to wake up every morning is a privilege. You know what I mean? Because not too many people a lot of people don't wake up in the morning. Yeah. And so whatever you're feeling or whatever you're going through, you have to honor yourself. Yeah. Because she did.
And tell the truth of how you're really feeling and not just what you think sounds right to do. Or you know what I mean? So people, and not just do things in the eyes for people to look at you like you're some type of God because you stood around for, forever with this person. I've had, this subject, I've had the subject before. I've had this conversation before with a couple of friends about B. And this exact thing that you mentioned. And they feel like you. Everyone that I've talked to about this would be 100% in agreeing with your comment, and just they're like, no, girl, that's not right, right? And so I'm kind of like the odd one in the bunch, and when this happens, where I'm like, no, I really think that this man is a human being, guys. He's a human being, and B is a human being, And I believe the humanness in both of them had this conversation before, y'all. As smart as both of them are,
I just don't
no way they didn't have that conversation
I just don't think that. Yeah. I think the thing is that they just didn't have it with us before.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm saying it's easy to me. It's just like it's easy to judge to people. It's a lot. I think in this world, and no, believe me. I understand the question. It is hard when you read stuff like that because you feel bad for her. Yeah. That is really a tough thing to deal with when anybody gets an illness.
And then this woman comes in and then
she's healthy.
Yeah, and it wasn't that simple, by the way. It wasn't just some woman coming in and here I am. I have B's home and I'm to ask her to have her husband. I don't think it was that simple.
Not too many women are signing up to help a man. No. Caregive. His wife.
Yeah, not happening.
So if she's doing that, it's because she does have some real feelings. Yeah,
she said. And no disrespect that it's like taking care of a child, but their daughter said that. Yeah, it's not. It's like he's a single father. Yeah, remember, it's like he's a single father. So even their daughter was like, "You guys don't know what's my father deserves to be in the." And again, I can't say this enough. Yeah. They had the conversation. Yeah, there's no way. These smart people. Yeah. She knew she was going to. It was early on set. Yeah. So that means she was coherent enough at the time to be able to have a conversation, a hard probably conversation with him, and probably said, I'm going to get bad. But before that happens, do not stick around.
Or do what you feel is in your heart. Yeah. Because I love you.
Yeah.
And if she loved him, she would have to say that. Right. Because if I was madly in love with my husband and someone told me that was that, I would say, do what you feel you have to do because I love you. Yeah. And I don't want you to spend your whole life. Yeah. If I'm in this for a long time, I understand that you are also living.
Yeah.
What a hell of a situation to be in. I don't even know.
It's hard.
What I could, I feel bad for her. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for this new girlfriend. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because she's getting, you know,
now this whole white thing, for me, you can throw that out. The white thing is just,
you know, my grandparents were married in the late 50s. My grandfather's black, my grandmother's white,
and they were married when it wasn't popular. When this interracial stuff,
sometimes you fall in love.
Yeah, in the 50s, 60s, that wasn't a popular deal that my grandmother and my grandfather did, but they did that because they were in love. Yeah, you know, and,
I love black men, but if a white man does come in my life and just happens to come in my life, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't like you.
Why would you do that? Yeah.
Simply because I'm not going out looking for it. I love black men, you know what I mean? But if that just happens, the same with black men. If they find a white woman and they just fall in love with her, and Hispanic woman, it doesn't matter who it is. Love is love. You know what I mean?
So I don't look at this as I don't care that she's white. I just honestly don't care that she's white. But people feel like, I think people are more I think people are really getting more upset at this loyalty thing, the loyalty part. So you know, I think on the outside looking in, that's all you see. Because literally, when you see them, you're thinking, "Oh my God, he done found a woman, B sick, and she's over here taking pictures with B." And this, you know, it's like, and she's in her house. You know what I mean? Like it's like. People I've talked to.
She had to have been pretty far gone, mostly because I don't think that if she was coherent that he would just have some woman in his house where she can really realize.
Loyalty wise, though, he's being loyal.
Yes, he's keeping her. He's taking care of her because he loves her, and any woman that comes in his life has to know that, and she does. She's okay with it.
Yeah, and he made it clear to Alex, "I'm a package deal. This is what it is. It's a very unique, very rare situation. You can look at him like you think he's a dog, but this man doesn't display any kind of like behavior of someone who's just cruel. I don't see this as a cruel person, but I will say this, that you have to be objective. So if I'm looking at this in a more like a subjective way, I am judging. I would be like, "Oh my God." I would be just like my friends. I would be like, oh man, he's a dog. Yeah. Bringing in this woman and having it. I would probably be that way, but because I'm being objective, I'm able to look at that and say, this is a human being who honored his wife for X amount of 28 years.
He still did it.
And still did it till this woman died. And I think that that's admirable. I'm sorry. I just do. And a lot of people may disagree with that, but I just do. And
being honest with yourself is the best thing you can ever do for your own life.
And this is the one thing that we advocate on this, when we doing this whole thing, is that we always say that just tell the truth of your life. You tell the truth of your life and tell the truth to yourself, then you're gonna be able to make the correct decisions, you know, for you. So I think this man just told the truth of his life. He told the truth of what he was genuinely feeling, and being able to put aside this public scrutiny that he knew he was going to get. Right. He ain't no way. This man was like, I know I'm this is about to be a tough one. And she's white. Shit. I bet he was like, oh man, you know, but all in all, he loves her. What are you going to do? Yeah. He loves her, and she loves him. And I think that it works for them. Yeah. Their daughter feels it works for them. And I think personally that B would have wanted this. Yeah, that's what I think.
A woman who embraced life the way she did. Yeah. A woman that embraced life the way she did would never want someone to stifle theirs. Yeah. For her.
And thank you so much for the question. This, because Kara and I were talking about this, like just really getting into this. Like this person. I think you're a woman. I'm sorry, but I didn't even pay attention. It just says healthy cooking. But I'm like, this kind of question is the questions that we love because our topics that we love because it really does make you think. Like what would you do? Yeah. It is a very unique situation. So we do really, really appreciate your comment. And we do kind of understand where you're coming from, 100% understand what you're coming from. Most people are going to understand where you're coming from.
Just one more example, but remember when people were mad, or people thought Cookie Johnson was stupid
that was
for staying with Magic Johnson because he had the disease. And She didn't. She stayed with her husband.
Yeah, she stayed with him.
And people always think, oh, why? He cheated on you, did that? Well, because she loves him.
Because she loves him. Because she loves him. Don't understand it, do you?
I don't know, but that's just their marriage.
It's not for us to understand it. It's their thing. That's their marriage, and
sometimes people leave, sometimes people stay.
It's true.
So. It really is the individual.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. That's all I have.
Is that
all I have? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're kind of running out of time right now. So please do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel and to our other social medias like Facebook and Instagram. And we upload every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that's it.
And just keep sending
send
more topics. We like people's topics. Yeah. This was a good topic.
It was a really good topic.
It was a really good topic. But I love topics.
I can actually go I can actually go on and on about this particular one because different instances. Yeah. I really love this topic. So thank you for your question.
People send really great topics.
We actually have more that we kind of put them kind of in order. But we do have more questions and topics, ideas. So look out for that. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Everybody have a good day. See you next time.
Bye.